بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا خذوا زينتكم عند كل مسجد وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين. صدق الله العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My respected brothers and sisters in Islam, Alhamdulillah, we know it is the blessed day of Jumu'ah, and on this day we increase in our recitation of Durud. So let us at least recite Durud thrice upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallim. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, we are indeed living in very trying times. We find that the system of the world is upside down. In South Africa, we are yearning for rains. There is a drought. Prices of crops are going up. Cattle and livestock are dying. In other places of the world, there's too much rain. There's tsunamis, there's floods. In Egypt, in Yemen, for example, there's too much of rain. So the ecological balance of the world is not in sync. It's completely out of balance. And we need to see that besides the scientific causes for these things, there are certain spiritual causes which is inviting the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because there's none other but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has nature completely in his control. We mustn't, we have this habit in us. We have this very, very strange habit. Now the tsunami took place in Japan. America put an atom bomb somewhere on one of the fault lines in the Atlantic Ocean, and the tsunami was caused. America is so powerful that it can cause a tsunami. What about the power of Allah? That one volcano took place, and the Americans have got some technology to agitate the chemicals in the earth, and they destroyed the entire of Java, for example. Get it right? You mean to say all natural occurrences take place because some man has got. Now we find if you want rain, we have certain Western countries have got technology. You can spray some pellets in the air and the rain will fall. So I'm just saying, if it's so easy for technology to create rain, why don't we get the technology and let the rain fall? Let us stop being deluded by saying everything is in the control of man. Brothers, things are in the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we need to turn to Him in order to get the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we look around, we find that Muslims are indulged in various sins, crimes, disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is keeping His mercy back. And one of these things which I want to speak upon today is the concept of our lavish lifestyles, the extravagant lifestyles which we actually are involved in, whether you're rich or whether you're poor. A person can also, and I will prove to you, that it's not only rich people who are extravagant, poor people are equally negligent and extravagant of the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to start off by quoting a very good saying of Muhammad Asad, the commentator of the Quran. He says that poverty in the midst of plenty, poverty in the midst of plenty is the very negation of brotherhood in Islam. We cannot claim to have brotherhood with our Muslim brothers and sisters around the globe, locally, internationally, if we are in a state of affluence and they in a state of poverty. So we don't only have equality in Islam in terms of spirituality. We have a type of equality in Islam in terms of our economy also. How does does it feel that here in South Africa or in the West, we're enjoying these luxuries. We're eating 5-course meals, 7-course meals. And you find the people of Syria, the people of Yemen, the people of Lebanon, they are scratching in the dustbins. In fact, there's nothing in the dustbins left. You find that there are hoses, to take water, and those children are looking for small little holes in the hoses, and they're drinking, sucking out the water from the hoses. Or you find that where they're distributing the relief, the crumbs which are falling there, the small children are picking up the crumbs amongst the dirt, they take it home, they wash it, and they mix it with some water, they make a type of very crude soup and they drink it. How can we enjoy a lavish meal, brothers, that we find when people are fleeing from their homes due to drought or due to war? A mother with 5 children has to decide which 2 children she has to abandon at the side of the road in order to die in peace because of the lack of food. How can we be so insensitive? How can we be so insensitive? It doesn't mean that if Allah Ta'ala gave us abundance, then we should waste it. Allah Ta'ala gave us abundance for us to spend upon each other. And I will prove this to you in the Quran Kareem, that the excess wealth which you have is really not yours. It belongs to others. Allah Ta'ala gave it to you to be a trustee of it in order to be of benefit to human beings. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. This is besides the zakat which is a must. 2.5%, it is such a small amount. Such a small amount. One of the causes for drought is people are not giving their zakat. 2.5%. I'm not even speaking of zakat. I'm speaking of the person's excess wealth after the zakat. That wealth don't belong to us. We cannot squander it in whichever way we want to. Allah says, وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. That in the wealth of in your wealth, وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ لِلسَّائِلِ. There is a right upon people who ask and people who don't ask. But what we do when we have excess of wealth, instead of increasing our giving, we increase our standard of living. Allah didn't give us extra wealth in order to increase our standard of living. Allah gave us extra wealth in order to make sure that the level on which you are, everybody comes on that level. That is why. So now you think that if you're driving a normal, Toyota or a normal VW, if you have extra wealth, now you must upgrade to a Mercedes, or must upgrade to a BMW, and if you have a BMW, then you need to get the latest model. If you have the latest model, one is not enough, you need to have 2. Brothers, if I have to go into the type of wealth certain people squander, you will fall on your back. I think a month ago there was this one person in India, and he inherited a fortune from his father. And he was busy squandering it, so he bought the whole airline out. The airline went down. So now the bank, they started repossessing his assets and his cars and things of this sort. I don't know if you can recall it, but the bank had to send 40 drivers to his home just to remove his supercars. Ferrari, BMW, Bentley, 40 cars each. Nothing less than 2 to 3 million rand. 40 cars. What are you doing with 40 cars? If you feel you have status, try a little bit of this, but 40 cars. Allah gave it him, Allah took it away. He had the opportunity of doing good. Allah took the opportunity away. Now even if he wants to do good, he cannot do good. Because all his money is now in the hands of the kuffar, in the hands of the kafir. So wasn't that a wasted opportunity for him? When Allah gave him the opportunity, and it is good to speak about other people, let us look at ourselves. When we have extra money, instead of saying that, you know what, I can give a little bit more towards this cause, that cause, towards elevating the pride of this person, that person, No, no, you know what? Let me look at that investment, this investment. If I have one shop, I'm going to open up a second shop. You know what? If I have two shops, I'm going to open up a third shop. You also think in that way. Now, I'm not saying it is bad to expand. You must expand in your business. You must expand in life. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. But we must understand that the extra money which generates from there is a very big portion of it for the needy and for the poor. You can explain how much you want to, you can still remain a plain and a simple person. Look at Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu ta'ala, who was one of the most wealthy Sahaba. Yet that money never ever changed him. Every day he used to be involved in certain business deals. He used to generate millions in profits every day. There was one day, in the time of Umar radiallahu ta'ala, there was a drought. And there was an appeal for donation from the Caliph that whoever can help, let help. Help the cause of the Muslims. There's drought. Like similar in South Africa, there's help. There's drought, and people are opening up their hearts and they're giving. So Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu ta'ala, he prepared a camel load. He prepared a caravan. That time there wasn't trucks and containers and things of this sort. They used to load the stuff on the backs of camel. And although in Madinah al-Munawwara there was drought, but in Egypt, in Misr, the country was under the Muslims. There was a lot of, there was abundance in Misr. So he prepared such a caravan of relief that by the time the first camel reached Medina, the last camel was only leaving Egypt. That is so much. That was the amount of relief which he prepared. So, when he made all that money, he didn't make it for himself. He made it for the benefit of the Muslims. We must get out of this notion that the more money we have, the more we have to puff up and the more we have to show our status, because wallahi, this is a sickness. If we must know the type of hisab which you will give on the day of Qiyamah, for every penny which you have earned and for every penny you have spent, wallahi brothers, you will make dua, Allah, please only give me that amount which is sufficient. Your leg will not move on the day of Qiyamah until you answer 5 questions. And from that 5 questions, the one will be, how did you make your money and how did you spend it? Now, in terms of extravagance, there's 2 types of ways how people normally make extravagance. There's 2 words used in the Quran and Kareem. One is israf, and one other is called tabdhir. And I will explain to you what is the difference between israf and tabdhir. Allah says in the Quran and Kareem, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu khudhu zinatakum 'inda kulli masjidin wa kulu washrabu wa la tusrifu. That, oh, you who believe, when you make salah, then you adorn yourselves with the best of garments. وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا, and eat and drink, and do not be extravagant. And then in another verse of the Quran Kareem, Allah says, إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا بِإِخْوَانِ الشَّيَاطِينَ. Verily the spendthrifts are the brothers of the devil. So there's 2 words Allah uses for extravagance, israf and tabdhir. And when you look at these 2 words, I think some of us in South Africa have went beyond tabdhir also. Israf is when a person uses excess in his daily needs and necessities. So for example, a person is hungry. And you go to the shop and you order a lovely sandwich or a club special or whatever it is and you eat it. But you know you can only manage a certain portion, but you ordered a little bit extra. Why did you order extra? For the birds for it to be thrown away. That is israf. You didn't need it, you ordered it. Now the rest of it must go to waste. Or a person is walking in the mall, for example, he needs a pair of shoes. And he sees, alhamdulillah, a lovely pair of shoes, but he sees a big discount sign, less 25%. So he takes the one pair, but he says, you know what, I may need the other shoe for the future, and he buys 2. Instead, he needs 1 pair of shoes. He buys 2 pairs, he buys 3 pairs. Then he walks along and he sees, this is on special, that is on special, I may need this. And he bought 4 or 5 things which he didn't need. And Shaitan is telling him that I may need it in the future. chances are the thing will go out of fashion, you may not even use it, it will just lay there in the cupboard and it will go for waste. That is israf. There is a filthy habit a lot of Muslims have, and we say it is culture, that when we're eating from a plate, we will make sure we don't finish the food on the plate. Because if you finish the food on the plate, it means we're still hungry. You must leave some food on the plate when we finish, so the host knows that now you are full. The host takes the food and dumps it in the dustbin. What type of Islam is wasting food part of Islam? You can do what the Toyota Corolla, for example, but now you want to upgrade to a certain bigger car. There's nothing wrong with a lower model, but you want to upgrade. So when Allah Ta'ala asks you on the day of Qiyamah, that in your big fancy Porsche car, sitting there with the aircon on, you pass the person with no shoes. You pass the person who was sweltering in the sun. And you had this luxurious car. How are you going to answer to Allah? And then when he comes and knocks on your window at the stop street or at the robot, begging for a few cents, a few rands, you shun him. You speak some words of, you repulse him. Like he's a piece of rag, he's dirt. And then we say we have brotherhood in Muslims. And we want to share our wealth for the underprivileged. If you were to answer for Allah Ta'ala for indulging in your extravagance, then prepare it, see if it will work in front of Allah Ta'ala. See if it will work. Nobody has the answer. So this is israf. And a lot of the people, to a certain degree, they have israf. The Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum practice tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the highest degree. They only have food in their homes for the day or for the meal. But we, little bit weaker iman, we have food in our homes, in the fridge, maybe for a week or two. Now imagine if you have a situation where you're hoarding money, you're leaving money in the bank, you have this business enterprise, that enterprise, which will not only see to it that you have enough food for 1 and 2 days, for 500 years thereafter, and you're hoarding that money. For what? How are you going to answer to Allah? This is Islam. Then after that we have tabdhir. Tabdhir is when a person uses the money for non-essential things, including avenues of sin. So for example, a person wants to take up a sport, for example, or a person wants to go for a lavish holiday, for example. He can go. I'm not saying you mustn't go for holiday. You need to go and relax. You need change of environment, But then in non-essential things, you book first class ticket, you go to Dubai, you stay in the Burj Al Khalifa, cost you 50,000 rand a night. 50,000 rand a night is a normal working class person's salary for sometimes 2 years. You spend it in one night. The Arabs think that they are doing the world a favor by putting up these huge buildings. Then you can come there and you can have a lovely holiday. They are not doing the ummah a favor. They are doing a disservice to the ummah. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that wait for trials to come to this ummah. When you see people who were previously barefooted shepherds of the desert, competing in building high buildings. When you see that happening, await trials in the ummah. We think that by developing the Muslim lands and by presenting a picture of opulence, then you know what, we are going to be attacking prosperity and we are going to be contributing towards humanity. No! We are regressing. This tabdhir, this wastage of money. So when you go to Dubai now, you say, I want to pass some time, let me try a skydive, So they have this thing called a skydive over the palms. The palms is a place in Dubai where they've claimed certain land from the ocean. So it's a lovely pattern, with in the shape of a palm. So you will go and maybe about 10,000 feet above the palms, they will drop you off and then we'll do a lovely skydiving session. that is going to cost you 2,000 dinars, which is 6,000 rands. To fall 1,000 meters, you're spending 6,000 rands. In 4 or 5 minutes in the air. And people think that, you know what, now we achieved something great. But let that parachute land in the wrong place in Dubai. Normally it will land there in one of the posh areas of the palm, but let it land 5 kilometers out of Dubai, where the slum area is, where all the indentured laborers are imprisoned, working for a pittance, slaving in order to make the country tick. Then you will be ashamed as to the prosperity which we see. It has been as a result of mass exploitation of Muslims. So are we going to be proud about all this wealth? For example, our wedding functions, our religious functions, our social functions. Let me give you an example. When Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha got married, the Queen of Jannah, to Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, then the only thing which he had in his possession was a shield. It was worth 400 dirhams. And today, 400 dirhams is a lot of money. It's about 12 to 13,000. So we judge our nikahs based on the value of that meher, not seeing how did she get married. After the meher was given, Ali Rasulullah said that, you know what, you need to make walima. Ali radiallahu ta'ala said that, you know, I haven't got anything. So his Sahaba, you know, the Ansaris, they came. Sa'd ibn Ubadah radiallahu ta'ala said that, you know what, I have a sheep. Certain of the Sahaba said, I have some corn, I have some barley. In this very simple manner, the nikah of the Queen of Jannah was performed. So we say no, marriage according to Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha. And we give the meher, and we feel that is sunnah. Nothing else besides the meher Fatima is sunnah about our weddings. When you're feeding the people whom you invite, you're not feeding hungry people. Remember this, brothers. The people whom we generally invite to our weddings, they're not hungry, they're not in need of our food. I know personally few people who are so fussy. The host will prepare the best of dishes, 7 course meal. But it's below his dignity to eat from that meal. You'll sit there and you'll nibble one to a char papar, you'll go out and you'll rather buy a sandwich from a cafe. Person asks him, but you know what, our host prepares, so no, it's below my dignity to eat that man's food. But it was the best food. So we're feeding food, the best of food, to people who's not hungry, and to people who give us artificial respect based on their money, and to people who will criticize the food thereafter. And you think it's a great ibadat? Who are we fooling? Certain people go into debt. They take a $500,000 loan, $1 million loan. They say, you know what, if we have our nikah according to the sunnah of Rasulullah, then you know what, we're going to be very dishonored in society. So are we saying that when Rasulullah married his daughter Fatima to Ali radiallahu ta'ala, then he was dishonored? Let me tell you something, brothers. Ali radiallahu ta'ala only became wealthy towards the end of the Medinan era. When Fatima radiallahu ta'ala married him, did you know what was his profession? His profession was to go out in the day looking for odd jobs. And most of the time, Ali radiallahu ta'ala used to get a job with a Yahudi who had a well, bringing the water, the buckets of water. Bringing the buckets of water up. Sometimes he used to go in the time of harvesting season and he used to be knocking the khajurs down. Was a normal person, normal laborer. Like as we can say in today's times, like a casual day laborer. Would we give in that nikah, the big fancy nikah, in which we give the meher Fatimi, would we get a son-in-law like that? A person who's selling cigarettes, or a person who's selling sweets on the street corner. Will we give our daughter to a person like that? Yet Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave it. Then we say our nikahs are sunnah. That is nothing, brothers. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam then gave trousseau to Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha. And that trousseau wasn't a big mansion or a keys to a Ferrari or a fully furnished house with all the latest gadgets in it. That when you come inside, you press a remote and the curtains open, and then, you know what, you press a fridge and then the fridge knows exactly when you're hungry. Nothing like that. That trousseau which Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave his daughter was a straw mat. A straw mat. The second thing was a water jug from which to make ablution from wudu. Third thing was a pillow made of leather with date palms in it. Date palms, very hard. You know, in Jerusalem we love a pillow which is feathers of what they call it, the duck down, the feathers of the one. It must be very, very comfortable. Mattress must be, you know, of the highest quality. And then it was a bill, a flower, a hand bill. There wasn't any Molinex or, you know, all this other modern gadgets which we have. A bill, a flower bill. This was the simplicity of the home of the Queen of Jannah. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes into the house of Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha one day, and he sees her wearing a garment with 13 patches on it. A garment with 13 patches. Which poor person who wears, even in our society, wears a garment with patches on it? 13 patches. And she is busy stamping on the flour mill, grinding the flour, grinding the barley, grinding the corn, and she's in the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's tears in the eyes of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam lifts her hands and kisses her hands, and he sees the blisters. And he tells her that, oh my daughter, you are the most dedicated person I have seen. For you surely this Jannah. We all claim to be Muslims, but our level of living compared to the level of how the Sahaba lived, compared to how the level of the Sahaba when they got married, how they did things, is worlds apart. Time is running out. I just want to give you one or two other examples. Brothers, there is 20 million refugees in the world today. 90% of them are Muslims. They have absolutely no prospect of a future. In this country, we have a lot of foreigners also sitting here. They have fled the countries because there was no economic prospects. They came here, alhamdulillah. They're looking, mashallah, very nice, they're prospering. Some of the foreigners are even more prosperous than the locals also, mashallah, alhamdulillah, very good. But think of those 20 million refugees, the only thing which they can do is to be on one place and certain nothing. Sometimes it takes a week for a plate of food to get to them. Jordan has a population of 6 million people, 2.5 million refugees. I mean, 1 in 4 people in Jordan are Palestinian refugees. These are very, very, very difficult, facts to swallow. If we have money, help our underprivileged people locally and abroad. Help them. Don't think if Allah gave you money, then you can up your standard of living. Up your standard of giving. Inshallah, this will be a reflection. This is a reflection of true muhabbat and true ukhuwah. Brothers, this is not only in our social life. This is not only for the Arabs, but for the poor people. How many times I have seen that, when there is a relief distribution taking place, when people are eating, they'll take the rice, they eat it. When they leave, that place is full of rice. You have made israf. Or the rice which you wasted, the food which you wasted, could have been a few meals for another person, for another occasion. Why do we carry on, whether we rich or we poor, when we're eating the meal, that this is going to be our last meal, and we must fill our stomach to the brims? Where do we get that? Even in our religious gatherings, we preach simplicity, we preach this, we preach that, yet when it comes to the table, we have a 5-course meal. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there wasn't 1 course, 2 course, 3 course, 5 course meal. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam ate the most simple of foods. And inshallah, once we get back to simplicity, then we will find true brotherhood, true ukhuwah taking place in the dunya. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Firstly, we thank Mulana Khalid Dhorat for his lecture today in this masjid. Just two announcements. Firstly, we ask all people to please use water sparingly, especially when making wudu. There are people who are opening up the taps too wide, and we ask them to refrain from doing that, as we are also experiencing a shortage of water throughout South Africa. Secondly, inshallah, after the Jummah Salah, there will be a Salatul Istisqa, the Salah for rain, in this masjid that will be performed by Sheikh Muhammad Atiyah, the Imam of this masjid. Thereafter, we will have a special dua. Jazakallah.